All right, today we're talking about all different cafe espresso-based drinks, what they are, how they're served, and how dine-in and takeaway can change the dynamics of the drinks. And if you find this video helpful, better than liking it, just subscribe to our channel, as it helps us out way more. And by the way, this is my favorite espresso-based drink. It's known as a schlong. Keep watching to find out more. Let's get into it. All right, first up, the good old single espresso, or commonly known as a short black. Now today, I'm serving it up in a glass so you can see volume. Traditionally, it's in a ceramic cup. And this is what makes up every drink we will talk about today. Now these days, ordering a single espresso at a cafe and receiving it as a single espresso is rather rare. We're talking about taking a double spouted portafilter and then only serving one side of it. I think most cafes default to the double shot, so that's more of a doppio or a double espresso, meaning they'll be using somewhere between 18 to 22 grams of ground coffee and then extracting 36 to 44 grams out into a single cup. Now, this is not a rule, but it is definitely a trend to receive a double espresso over the single. And beyond that, it is a notable experience if you get some free sparkling water on the side when you order an espresso. That's an espresso for you. Next up, we have the Ristretto. This one often gets mistaken as a double Ristretto. Now, much like the terminology in asking and ordering for an espresso, I think honestly, ordering a single Ristretto is pretty pointless, as a Ristretto that's served in Australia is going to be a shot that you stop around the halfway mark. So it's about 20 grams of coffee in 20 seconds. And if you're only then taking one side of that of the spouts, we're literally talking like 10 to 15 ml beverage max, which isn't that much when you're paying for a full handle. So if you like Ristrettos, you actually do want to order a double Ristretto, meaning you'll get the full 20 grams from a full basket of coffee. Now this is going to pack a massive punch, and you'll thank me later. This is affectionately known as a double Riz, and if the barista is onto it, I'm just going to go up and ask for a double Rizzer. Then we move on to a Lungo. Now, a Lungo is not a common order in a cafe because basically it's like an over-extracted espresso. Let me explain. A regular double shot of an espresso gets you 40 grams of beverage in 30 seconds. Whereas a Lungo, you're going to be stretching that espresso out to get around 80 to 120 grams. And also, it will be around a minute of an extraction time, which is just not great for the coffee. And you really do have to like that over-extracted vibe if you're ordering a Lungo. But hey, if the customer is paying, I'm playing. Then we come to the long black. This is quite simple really. It's hot water in the cup first, and then a double espresso on top. Now this may also be known as an Americano in some circles, and you can have any size long black you want from small to large, and the process stays the same. Now it is a full cup of hot water and then a double espresso poured on top of the water, and not the other way around, ever. And now we come to my favorite drink, which is the schlong. Yes, that's absolutely what it's called. Take a short black and a long black and you get a schlong. It is water added to the cup and then the espresso, but it's less than the water added to a long black. It's about half the amount. And it is one fixed size. Sorry, you can't order a small schlong, and that kind of speaks for itself. And I find these absolutely delicious. Cheers. All right, let's now talk about macchiatos, because you can order a short or a long macchiato, but be specific because every barista interprets it a little differently. You see, a short macchiato, this can be a single or a double espresso with milk staining the espresso and then milk froth spooned on top. And then a long macchiato, I see as more like a schlong. So there's hot water, a double espresso with that same milk staining and some foam on top. Or you could see it as a short mac is a single espresso and then a long mac is a double espresso. So you are just better off communicating what it is you want to order or how they make their macchiatos. I don't mind a macchiato. I'm just never sure if I want a short or a long. Next, the Piccolo and the cortado. Sometimes these mean the same, and then honestly, sometimes they don't. Today they mean the same. Now a Piccolo, which is more common, is always a single shot of an espresso served in a glass. So it's almost like a mini latte. It's topped with steamed milk, but there's only one size to a Piccolo. Like a schlong, there's no large Piccolo, but it is a very delicious drink. Enjoy. Next up, let's talk about the magic. Now, there's nothing really magic about this. It only comes in one size, and it uses a double ristretto in the cup, topped with 3 to 5 ounces of steamed milk. And this is a Melbourne cafe staple. If you know, you know. Now, it is also usually served in a tulip cup, underfilled with milk. And personally, I feel like you can hold off on the fancy latte art with this one. Now we come to the flat white. Beloved by Aussies, known as the flatty, this can come in any size, anywhere from 5 ounces upwards. In dine-in, it's often served in a ceramic cup, and it's typically used with a double ristretto or a double espresso with steamed milk topped to the cup's rim. Now, if you go bigger, say 16 ounce flat white, you're likely getting a bonus extra shot, sometimes even a double shot, which means you'll get 4 espresso shots in total, so that way the coffee cuts through the milk. But it's always a smooth textured, well-steamed milk, and this is an absolute staple in any cafe found across Australia. Now let's take a look at the latte, or the latte as the Australian accent would pronounce it. This is almost identical to a flat white in how it's made. So it's either using a double ristretto or a double espresso. However, when you're dining in, it is served in a glass. That way it's showing off that milk to foam ratio with a good head on top of it. This also comes in all sizes. Now, when it comes to takeaways, you won't know the difference between a latte and a flat white. It's controversial, but it's true. All right, let's now talk about the cappuccino. This one gets people fired up around the world as it is such a traditional drink. Here in Australia, the cappuccino comes in any size. And very much like a latte or a flat white, you can find either a double ristretto or a double espresso used. Now, when it comes to the milk, if the barista is onto it, you might find extra foam on top, and the cappuccino is always served in a ceramic cup. Now, here's the kicker. Yes, in Australia, we put chocolate on top of our cappuccinos. That is a cappuccino here. It's either shaved or powdered chocolate. And if it doesn't have chocolate on it, then it's a latte served in a ceramic cup. Work that one out. And then finally, the Mocha. Now, the Mocha is available in any size. You can get a small Mocha to a large, and it is served much like a latte in a glass when dining in. However, the Mocha has chocolate inside the drink, not just sprinkled on top like the cappuccino. This chocolate, you can either mix into the espresso first or blend the chocolate in when you're steaming the milk. Either way we accept. And I would have to say that the Mocha is that gateway to drinking coffee from a cafe if you've never drunk coffee before, because it's basically a hot chocolate with espresso. It's still delicious. Oh, coffee and chocolate? It's so delicious. It's heaven. And there you have it. A breakdown of all the common espresso-based drinks that you can find in a cafe around Australia. Probably should have mentioned that at the start. Hopefully this clears up some confusion. And now I want to know, what would be your go-to order knowing the menu? Let me know in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video, and we'll see you in the next one.